Well, I hope you guys had a happy 4th of July, because these guys definitely did. Now imagine the stuff that we don't know about that happened behind the scenes that the CIA conveniently has in their compromised folders. This, as we just got a major bombshell and revelation, as the CIA just admitted another major bombshell. As of course, we haven't been having a lot of bombshells. A lot of documents came out, but it was a lot of nothing burgers, as finally we get something a little bit more consistent, and it points to the possibility of clear proof evidence that Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy when he decided to take out the President of the United States. Now, why was the President of the United States taken out? Great question, you ask there. Of course, I think that question is worth asking, especially in hindsight with what is happening today with these kind of soft disclosures, these weird disclosures, the disclosures that haven't been, and these other types of activities surrounding other types of intelligence agents' assets that clearly aren't being held responsible for their indiscretions against the American people. I wanted to focus on the JFK aspect of this story with this major bombshell, but also go into the type of deeper down the rabbit hole theories about what potentially could be happening right now, especially when it comes to the intelligence agencies who probably still are all powerful and able to do a whole bunch of espionage, subterfuge, disinformation, and mind control that I think it's important to pay attention to more than ever. And if you agree with that, subscribe, and let's just get right into it. As of course, Axios has this article that they just released 4 hours ago. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, I need to look at, we're deep diving into this, as the article is titled, CIA Admits Shadowy Officer Monitored Oswald Before JFK Assassination's New Records Reveal. I thought we got all the records though. Where's the records? There's more records now? There's more documents that we haven't seen yet? Are you kidding me? This as we had MTG come out, and she just said that JFK was assassinated for opposing Israel's nuclear program in 1963. Oh boy! That's a pretty big accusation there, as JFK, when he was President of the United States, definitely faced a lot of, quote, stiff opposition from the ruling class and the intelligence agencies that literally were trying to put forward plans that they wanted to enact that would bomb American cities and blame the Cubans for it so they can have an excuse. They could have their own kind of new Pearl Harbor-like event in order to start a war down in the Caribbean. JFK looked at that and was like, what? The Joint Chiefs of Staff wants me to bomb American cities? Wants me to hijack American airplanes? Put up dummy airplanes? That sounds very familiar. That sounds awfully familiar to something. It's almost as if that Joint Chief of Staff plans kind of was, carried out. Maybe, in like 2001 here, all of this, as again, we're now finding out for the first time in nearly 62 years that the CIA admitted that an agent specializing in psychological warfare, George Janindis, ran an operation that came into direct contact with Lee Harvey Oswald before Lee Harvey Oswald took the ultimate move. And allegedly, and again, everything is just absolutely inconsistent with the official version of events here. And there's a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of official versions of events that a lot of people destroy their reputations on, especially now within the Trump administration. We'll tell you about that. We'll tell you about that in a little bit here, before going a little bit more deeper down the rabbit hole. But this article by Axios, it's an important article, as of course they talked about how the CIA tactically admitted that an officer specializing in these psychological operations came into contact. Now, why does this matter? As first of all, we were told, promise said, promise kept. Well, no, not really. Not with the JFK files. As soon as the JFK files came out, I was like, this is not it. This is not it. I was talking to other people that had more of a deeper wealth of knowledge than I did on this. People who were alive at the time, people who were connected to this administration. And they're like, we got nothing. We got screwed here. Once again, as we had a batch of 40 documents concerning this George Janindis guy that just came out. And then we have congressional hearings here that we're going to be playing videos of that I think are important to look at. But this is the, quote, linchpin document highlighting how in January 17, 1963, the CIA memo showing Janindis was directed to have an alias and fake driver's license bearing the name Howard Gibler. Until Thursday, the agency had denied that Janindis was known as Howard, the case officer name for the CIA contact. Now, why would the CIA lie here? Why is the CIA lying to the American people 63 years later about this guy's alias? What was this guy doing? What was he responsible for? As now, more questions kind of should be on the CIA agents who are still lying to the American people. Why are you still lying to me? Now, before playing clips and going deeper down the rabbit hole and talking about the bigger kind of conspiracies here, we wanted to tell you, of course, about the sponsor of today's video, and that, of course, is BiltongUSA.com. Biltong is the ultimate health snack. It's a great source of iron and serves as a source of several other essential nutrients, including magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins. Fueling gains in every aspect of your life, whether you're following a carnivore, keto, or high-protein diet. Biltong is the perfect addition to keep you on track. Use code WRC for 10% off of your purchase. They just sent us a whole bunch of fruits and nuts. And listen, I'm not home. I was flying yesterday. I got myself a bag, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll make sure that I threw it out after I ate it, obviously. And the stuff is really good, and I make sure that anytime I have guests, you got to try this stuff. And a lot of the guests that were part of our shows, we always made this a snack that was readily available to them, and they all loved it. It's really super clean stuff. Lots of stuff out there filled with so much nasty stuff out there. I was walking around the airport, and I was just smelling all the seed oils, and I was smelling all the like heavily processed junk and food, and I'm like, man, they're destroying our country from within with these like soft kill weapons out there that play on our pleasure palate, on our mouth holes for 2 seconds, but then wreck our guts, wreck our intuition, wreck our mental health and physical health. And I'm like, I just felt a little depressed yesterday looking at this like person stuffing their mouth. But that's why this is a hack. Bring your own food to the airport. I brought some biltong. I like biltong. I think you will too. It's clean. It's good. It's high protein. Lots of people need that now, especially with all the little soy boys out there. Get it right now, Biltong USA, and support this independent media broadcast by using the promo code. So many people are like, oh, I got it. I bought it. Did you use the promo code? No. What are you doing? WRC, use the promo code. Now, let's get back to this. Now, this guy hiding his information, being instrumental in Oswald and a lot of the stuff he's doing. Oswald was like in Cuba, was in Russia here. But the first thing that I think about here automatically is MKUltra. Like, this is probably an MKUltra operation that was meant to be carried out in a way where there was this incident, this type of activity that brainwashed Lee Harvey Oswald, as of course Roger Stone comes out and says, Patsy! Yeah. Lee Harvey Oswald himself, as he was being carried out, was saying, I'm a patsy, which clearly he was, especially since you look at the number of shots, you look at the autopsy, you look at the full details of exactly what happened here. It is inconsistent with one person working with an outdated, horrible rifle on top of the school book depository building. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Now, the question I'm asking myself, why after 62 years are you just admitting this right now? Why are you telling me now that this is happening here and you're connecting the dots here? Because nothing happens on accident here. Now, we were told, you guys got everything. The most transparent promises kept. We did this for you. We got you everything. And I'm like, this is not everything. there's still a number of documents that are missing. We still don't know exactly what's going on here. And now we're finding out, wait, there's more stuff. So that's the big revelation here. As, again, the CIA had a lot of interest in Lee Harvey Oswald, mainly because of the likelihood that he was a CIA asset. He was an agent, as these new documents are also talked about in Newsweek here. New York Post wrote another article, JFK files reveal CIA officials lied about awareness of assassin Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah, they also were saying, oh, he was not on our radar, and now we found out through some of these documents he was on their radar. Now, there was hearings about these very particular tidbits of information, specifically hosted by Chairwoman Luna Paulina. Here's a clip that I found very interesting from that clip that relates to the conversation that we're having right now. And then we'll talk about the Epstein stuff in a little bit.
And the other went into Governor Conley. So those two bullets didn't do anything to kill President Kennedy.
Okay, my last question, Dr. Curtis, you ready? Are the wounds you observed consistent with the government's conclusion Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone?
No.
Thank you, sir. We thank all of our witnesses who are here today. Chairwoman, thank you.
Yeah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. It's inconsistent, especially with everything that we're finding out here, especially with all the circumstantial evidence we're having here. Now, the thought that the government would write, hey, dear diary, the darker, secretive societies that really do run our government through the intel agencies that really do kind of call the shots here. Do you think they'll, oh, dear diary, today we took out the President of the United States. Hee. No. Obviously, we're not going to get those type of bombshell documents, but we do have other documents that, of course, were released here, specifically about Gary Underhill, a man who worked for the CIA that came out and right after the assassination of JFK said that the CIA was responsible for it. And then he left D.C. in a hurry. And then, of course, he met a very weird, interesting demise where he was, taken out. As it was ruled that it was, quote, a self-harm incident. Really? Was it? Really? As, of course, I think Gary Underhill knew a lot more. And, is the government ever going to announce, hey, we did this? No, I don't think we will. But Donald Trump even said himself, we released all the JFK documents. There's nothing there. And I'm like, okay. Why is that? Why? And I'm like, everyone that I was talking to, I'm like, okay, we're looking for this, and they didn't get it. So as soon as the documents came out, we were like, yeah, this is a big nothing burger because this is just another cover-up effort now being done under the Trump administration, which is showing you who's really in charge here, which might answer some questions about some of the more kind of unpopular decisions that Donald Trump is making. We'll get into that in a little bit. Here's another portion of this clip that I found interesting.
And I yield back.
Thank you, Representative Mace. I now recognize myself for probably more than 5 minutes. So my first question goes to Judge Tunheim. Why did you tell President Biden that the CIA had deliberately misled your board about the Janindis file?
I did that because the CIA misled us. I mean, we had asked, we're picking up names all along, and people were telling us about other people to ask about. And we've been after the Janindis file for a while, and what we got was something very small. It looked like just a personnel file, what he got paid, and, when he separated.
Now, if you're Donald Trump, right, and you're like, wait, the CIA is lying to me? Okay, who's lying to me? Let's hold these agents accountable for screwing us over. Now, if I'm RFK Jr., I'm livid. I'm pissed. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? You guys are still lying to us? As of course, I talked to RFK Jr. He says clearly the intel agencies took out my uncle and my father. As of course, this task force that is being used here is releasing and connecting the dots on a lot of these tidbits of information. But obviously, the tidbits of information that are being released here are still officially being covered up here, as the levels of disinformation, the levels of propaganda that we're being inundated with here are probably a lot higher than even a lot of us realize here, as there's fake agents, there's fake personalities, there's fake pieces of information that are meant to contradict something that, of course, you thought you were getting close to the truth from, and then bada bing, you have a PSYOP being run and operated in an emotionally kind of unhinged way, where you either have a lunatic that's a turd in the punch bowl, or you have someone that actually is working for the CIA releasing some bits of information, but meant to, of course, dissuade you from seeing the full picture and perspective here. While it's pretty clear here, the full picture is we're being lied to. That's it, clear as day. We're being lied to, and we're continued to be lied to. Now, there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, with like, okay, these documents now coming out now. But this whole charade, this whole facade, we gave you everything. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We're not seeing all of it. And how deep does the rabbit hole go? It goes pretty deep. Let's talk about this one from the New York Times. They wrote a very interesting opinion piece that we covered a couple days ago here on this YouTube channel, saying, did the deep state invent the UFO craze? Well, that's allegedly what they're trying to say here. And again, this is like a PSYOP within a PSYOP. To me, in my opinion, that's what we came to the conclusion of. The Hill, did the Pentagon spread false UFO stories? We're skeptical. Skepticism is your best friend. The ultimate kind of common denominator here, liars. All of them liars. Another deep state asset stooge, Dr. Fouchy. Daily Mail has an interesting article saying the fresh world of hell facing Anthony Fauci as the net finally closes in on Dr. Doom. That's a pretty correct name. Kind of opposite of what they were saying about him as the savior of the world a couple years ago, as he was saving us from something that he had his fingerprints all over. But it's not just Dr. Fauci that had his fingerprints all over it. It was also, of course, EcoHealth Alliance, Peter Daszak, CIA-connected type of intel agencies that were working with them, with Dr. Fauci, as of course Dr. Fauci has been a deep state agent. Now listen, he has a pardon. There's an auto pen controversy. Might get held responsible for it, might not. I don't know. Ever since the Patriot Act passed, Dr. Fauci's been around for so long. The AZT kind of controversy that he stirred up to, that was disgusting. But you look at right after this this 2001 incident in the United States that it was oddly familiar to the Joint Chiefs of Staff plan that was proposed to JFK, that JFK said, hell no, we need to shred the CIA into 1,000 pieces into the wind. When we look at, after 2001, specific provisions in the Patriot Act decriminalized biowarfare, and that's probably exactly what he was involved in. And that's what he carried out his plan. And I think he needs to be absolutely held responsible, as the likelihood of him being pardoned for creating the COOF virus is something that I think is serious, is something that I think we need to, of course, talk about in a very kind of serious manner here, because we're still at a possibility here where these same intel agency connected individuals could release something once again. And this is why the intel agencies that have never been held responsible need to be held responsible for their particular actions. But let's be honest, under this Trump administration, we were told we were going to get all the files. We were told Epstein was going to, and his client list was going to be exposed, that there was going to be some justice here. And let's be honest with ourselves. Hasn't happened. Hasn't happened yet. And that to me is a huge letdown, a huge disappointment. For a little bit, I really wanted to believe it. I really was like, please, 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 let this be true, because this would be amazing if the CIA connected. And the people are asking, where are the Epstein files? They're at the CIA. And then their proxies and MI5 and Mossad. Okay, as Elon Musk asks again, he responded to someone asking, hey, where's those Epstein files? He's like, good question. As the Sun here, the New York Sun says, tensions resurface as Elon Musk demands release of Epstein files amid feud with Donald Trump. He did this during the first feud. as now there are still mounting questions and contradictory statements from the FBI director, the FBI deputy director, and the Attorney General of the United States that sadly, they're doing a lot of interviews, they're doing a lot of other stuff, they're going after a lot of low-level crime. Those people who took those relief loans, whoa, you better watch out. Whoa, PPE loans? Oh no. And I'm like, hold on. Can we focus, please? Can we focus on stopping the serial child herders out there that are still out there prolifically hurting children in an unspeakable, horrible freaking way? Can we stop them first? Can we do that? Can we do that? Listen, PPE stuff, I'm okay with it. Here, use my own tax dollars for it. I don't care. Anyway, it's pretty clear here. We're living in a world where there's one unaccountable government agency that works now through proxies and private contractors like Palantir that are just able to do whatever they want right now. And listen, the light at the end of the tunnel is that we got these documents. We got some documents, okay? We haven't got all of them. There's still a lot, and there's a major cover-up effort. But the reality of the situation is that light at the end of the tunnel, that's a long tunnel we got to go through. And so far, all the signals are showing us that the intel agencies, like they were in charge under the Biden administration, are still in charge now. That's my opinion. If you think I'm wrong, let me know why down in the comment section below. I always appreciate a good, hearty, honest discussion. If you think I am wrong in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. Check out Biltong, really great stuff. I really do appreciate them and everything that they do. Support them. They're opening up a physical store in Texas. Go visit them. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.